This Buffalo Bills team preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is giving away $15 million at Best Ball Mania 5. Sign up with SGPN to claim your first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm's college football and NFL projections are now live. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner on picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Here to talk about some buffaloes.
Ooh, some bison, the Buffalo Bison, aka Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Always enjoy talking Buffalo Bills. We'll be joined by the Don of Bills Mafia, Adam Pelletier, managing editor, sportsgamblingpodcast.com here in just a little bit. But Ryan, good times. I mean, Bills, I look back and of course, Bills did go 11-6. Win total sitting at 10.5. Now we went under, unfortunately, we did not get that right. Brings our total to 18-9 for you, 16-11 for me.
I can't be under 500.
No, yeah, you've clinched.
That's why
I can only be 500. We'll see the last couple ones if I got any winners in there. And we weren't completely off. We did have them going 10-7, so pretty close there, but didn't get the win there. They were 6-6 and then went on a nice run there. Got hot when it mattered, closing out the second half of the season, 11-6, and then business as usual in the playoffs. Losing to the Kansas City Chiefs, but I don't know where are you at with this Bills team overall. I feel like. I don't know. It's interesting. It felt like the wall was caving in. McDermott was getting rid of some coordinators.
Well, it's because again, got rid of that petulant child, Ken Dorsey, and everyone's like, "Wow, what's that?" It
brought in Joe Brady.
Seems like, which I would imagine Joe Brady was probably relatively limited in what he could change in season. And so you end up with a team that just kind of slowly achieved a higher level of being conservative, maybe what McDermott wanted. A little bit more run the ball, a little bit more. Hey, we're a cold weather team. And so I don't know, like as
well. Yeah, I mean, I remember didn't they put it to the Cowboys pretty good there, running the ball down their throat. Like when they were running the ball, when they stuck to the run, I thought this was the best version of their team. They got rid of Stefon Diggs, but I think kind of leaning into, hey, we don't need Stefon Diggs. Clearly there was some behind the scenes drama. Clearly they didn't want him there in Buffalo. Clearly Josh Allen was kind of sick of his shit. And I think they felt like, hey, we'll run some 12 personnel. We'll run the ball more. We'll draft Keon Coleman and we won't miss a beat with Stefon Diggs, who I don't know what it was, but he would really fall off, especially last year in the second half of the season.
Calling him soft.
I don't know if it's soft. I couldn't tell you. When we get Adam on, I would love to get his insight on the Stefon Diggs situation. To me, again, the Bills ceiling is super high, but that ceiling, the only thing that ironically that holds them back from reaching their full potential is Josh Allen. No. But also that's the only thing that boosts them to a super high ceiling. The Bills, Ryan, 16-0. Since 2020, when Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over, if he can,
that makes a lot of sense.
It's not rocket science. If Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over, the Bills are going to win the game. And I know Bills fans, you don't want him to play super conservative, but maybe you can find that middle ground where he's not forcing some stuff he doesn't have to do. And I don't know. I don't know how they do that, but it's some interesting. This was another interesting stat. Under Ken Dorsey, the Bills recovered just 1 out of 8 fumbles, while with Joe Brady, they recovered 8 out of 10. So crazy fumble luck breaking for Dorsey there.
Yeah.
And
is it luck? You go to Miami, you're not taught to bend over and pick up money off the ground.
Oh, I thought you were
keep that for the poor people.
And Ken Dorsey, I mean, there was some unfortunate breaks. Eagles, that wasn't an unfortunate break. Eagles just flat out won in overtime. But that Broncos game, there was some breaks I felt like could have gone either way for the Bills there early, and maybe Ken Dorsey sticks around. Kind of an interesting what if there, but
his middle name is Simon. Kenneth Simon Dorsey. I mean, that just, what does Colby like to call people? Dweebs. That's a butt munch.
Yeah, and I mean that Broncos loss, they certainly had a chance there. They lost a bunch of close games early. They lost to the Jets in New York in overtime to Zach Wilson. Like, there was some unfortunate losses in there. I mean, yeah, they were a very interesting team. Lost at New England 29-25. How do you lose to that New England team? You lose to the Bengals. Okay, I get that. You lose to the Eagles. Okay, I get that. But losing to the Broncos at home,
Jags come to your place and beat you. I mean, what
that was unfortunate. But then
the Bronco, come on.
In the wild card, they destroyed the Steelers 31-17, and then unfortunately lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. The DeMar Hamlin, who I will not
may he rest in peace.
I looked at the price. I got it at -285 last year. Comeback player of the year. The only time I
CLV.
I think it was like the only future I gave out where I was laying odds. Meanwhile, he closed at like -100. It was crazy.
10,000.
Yeah. So
and he didn't win.
Shout out to me getting a ton of meaningless CLV. But Ryan, any other big picture thoughts here on the Buffalo Bills?
No, I think you saw like the team started to evolve.
Yeah.
Like clearly, hey, maybe we don't need you, Diggs. Get rid of you, and bring in a guy like you. Maybe not quite up to the same level caliber, but someone who can run a decent route and really good at the point of the catch. Also good on the mic. Keon Coleman, one of the stars of draft weekend.
Yeah,
talking about buying winter coats for Florida or for upstate New York. And like you said, they're going to run some 12 person. It does seem like they're intent. Like we've said this about a couple teams. They've made clear decisions. They're bringing in people to fulfill that. You didn't bring up Mac Hollins, who is going to be on the field a shitload because of his blocking, which tells me they're going to run the damn ball.
Yeah. Love Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins also fun follow on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Mac Hollins home maintenance challenge where it's just like Mac Hollins explaining how to replace a air conditioning filter. I mean, I would share the videos. They're kind of boring. It's just funny to me that Mac Hollins is using his Instagram feed. He's
just trying to help people out.
Yeah. It's like how to clean your pipes.
He probably figured out it's a good way to get free stuff for your house.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's a very interesting character, Mac Hollins. Love him. On the defensive side, and maybe pull up the roster additions, subtractions. Lot of roster turnover. I think the Bills went in with this idea of like, hey, we're going to turn over the roster in a big way. Brought in Curtis Samuel, I think could be interesting. Maybe a deep fantasy play.
He did have success with Brady in Carolina. So this was a very specific. This is like you bring a guy in to be in a role he's been in before. That it must be critical enough. And for a team that didn't exactly have a receiving core, I think Curtis Samuel has grown on me.
And Mitch, they brought Mitch Trubisky back. In my head, I was like, he was on the Bills last year, but
Steeler. He had a stint in Pittsburgh.
he went back to he went to Pittsburgh. He was on the Bills briefly. Or for that season back in 2021, but yeah, I mean Trent Sherfield gone, Stefon Diggs, Shaq Lawson. I think the ton of turnover in the secondary. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, lost both those guys. I'm sure Adam will tell us they were trash, but
they were on the downside of their career.
Sean McDermott, I think one of his specialties is coaching up young safety. So him getting the most out of the new guys there, whatever they end up doing. I mean, DeMar Hamlin might end up playing some serious minutes serious snaps for this Buffalo Bills team.
Like those Make-A-Wish plays they got lined up for him last year.
I mean, the fake punt was it's like they were trying to beat the Chiefs and
really bad,
get a movie going at the same time.
Well, we liked Cole Bishop in the first safety market, someone they drafted out of Utah, Sean. So they definitely reinforced. They brought some people in.
Khalil Shakir had a great. He generated the same number of 20+ yard receptions as Diggs, and just 2 less than Gabe Davis on almost half the targets as Davis. So maybe he ends up kind of being a deep shot guy. I'm really not.
No, they brought MVS in to run down the field.
Yeah, right? I'm really not that worried. I don't know. What to you, looking at this team, looking at this roster, what is your biggest concern?
The defense.
Yeah. Because even the offensive line, I think
Josh Allen will
PFF has him 8th overall. Josh Allen's going to put the team on his back. He does have to worry about the drama with Stefon Diggs. Yeah, there is some concerns. It's just the Allen turnovers and the concerns with some of the defense on the back end, I think is what I would be worried about if I was a Bills fan.
I mean, the offensive line kind of matters, but Josh will figure it out. I do think that after kind of getting through it, I do kind of like the receiving core.
Yeah,
because I think you're gonna have Curtis Samuel and Shakir doing some stuff, Coleman doing some stuff, and then the tight ends doing a lot of stuff.
And I think the back end of the defense. We had Baldy on our VSiN show. He was pretty optimistic about AJ Epenesa, if Von Miller. And Bills Mafia DGen saying Von Miller the year after the year of the injury. So I don't know how much Von Miller has left in the tank, but if you can get a decent year from Von Miller, I think that's I
worry a little bit
in pretty good shape. And Von Miller maybe is an interesting comeback player of the year. I know it normally goes to someone on the offensive side, but I know he might be a fun dark horse.
I know a lot of that came out of some quotes where he discussed coming back too early. And have you seen tape of him moving around?
No.
I would say best to not include any contributions from Von Miller in this season. So I think if they get anything from him, it's a positive, and that's part of the reason I'm a little down on the defense in general. We've seen it too with the Milano effect, him being in or out.
Well, and Matt Milano, this is training camp. We don't know, but he already was dealing with an arm thing. He was getting checked out by the trainers. He's one of those guys where his on-off splits really make a difference for the defense.
I think that this, we often talk about how you can regress, in a positive way and not be better. Like, I think their offense, in spite of some of this stuff, will be fine.
Yeah.
But the defense regressing back a little bit seems likely.
Defensive DVOA was 12th. Offensive DVOA was 3rd. They were 3rd overall in DVOA. So
I feel like a slight step back on both sides. Even if they stay the same on offense, I'm fine. They're a top 5 offense.
I could almost see the offense getting, now maybe not DVOA, but maybe slightly putting up a few more points. So,
I think if this is where I think McDermott saw this coming, he's like, well, we might have to play slower to maybe control these games a little bit. But if that defense has slipped and they have to do a little bit more chasing, this is why Josh Allen in fantasy is so interesting this year. Because
100%.
I think it's one of these things where they might not always be the team to push, but when they get pushed, they're going to be a real interesting unit. And again, I think you have a team that possesses an interesting home edge, and that home edge, I don't know
when it's warm. I mean, we saw the Bengals.
They have turned into a cold weather team. I really do.
No, it's this version. I think might be the best version of the Josh Allen Bills. Ryan, of course, everyone tuning in for the phrase that pays, 1 word per team preview. The Bills word is why. WHY. Shout out to people.
Why you got to change it?
Why?
They lost 4 straight.
No
Super Bowls. Why?
No, that wasn't it. Anytime I see the word why, I do think of Nancy Kerrigan. Why? Probably dating myself there, but the older heads will certainly get that.
The Stern, Fred used to play that.
It was a great drop on Stern back in the day. Of course, we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Go to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN. Get in on some season long higher lower for the Buffalo Bills for any team. preseason pick 'em. I saw J Mark in the chat already chirping, saying he's just here to find out which round the Chiefs will beat the Bills in the playoffs.
Wow.
That's uncalled for, J Mark. But J Mark been giving out some preseason picks for Underdog Fantasy, higher, lower. Great time to cash in over there. I'm already looking at some Josh Allen season long, higher, lower. Again, so many. They got week 1 up. Just so much action to get down on, all over at underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Circa Sports, Circa Million. Ryan, Circa Survivor, 10 million guaranteed. And I have a feeling a lot of people will be playing the Buffalo Bills week 1, 7-point favorites at home against Kyler Murray.
Watch out.
But hey, 16 million in guaranteed prizes. And of course, use our proxy.footballcontest.com. Sign up using our proxy and you get a free SGP hat. Toss that in. And of course, when you use a promo code, you get $50 off as well. Come out and say hi to us at the Ultimate Contest Weekend, August 22nd through the 24th. Beautiful Circa Las Vegas. Sign up for the contest, enter in Nevada, play from anywhere. Circasports.com and the promo code SGP for the 15% off the hotel stay. Circasports.com. Ryan, we've made him wait long enough. I'm sure he's backstage chomping at the bit, ready to come out of the tunnel. Oh, by God, that is Adam Pelletier's music, managing editor over on the Sports Gambling Podcast. The Don of Bills Mafia just took a swig of something to make sure he's hydrated. Adam, pleasure as always having you on the show. What did we get right and what did we get wrong about your Buffalo
We're
Bills?
going to start off with just the factual inaccuracies of Sean saying that the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills at home. That was a game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Sean.
No,
I expect better from this program.
No. That was Ryan. Go back and check the tape.
Whichever one of you. Whichever one of you Californians said it. Stay out there on the West Coast where you don't know anything.
The London Jags got the best of you.
The London Jags got the best of the Bills there.
If that's the worst that we did, okay.
I mean, but I will point out that Josh Allen is the reason the Bills win. Josh Allen is also the reason why, since he became the starter, the Bills have lost 6 games by less than a touchdown, or more than a touchdown. Sorry, lost 6 games by more than a touchdown since he became the starter. 3 of them were in his first season. So since 2019, Josh Allen has lost, and the Bills have lost 3 games, regular season games, by less than a touchdown. And that's a remarkable number. Like you said, he's the reason they're so good. He's the reason they lose at times. But when you're a man who's a certified degen like Josh Allen, who's willing to risk it all to double down, and, stuff's going to slip up sometimes, and you're just going to end up with maybe a happy surprise, maybe a not so happy surprise that gets delivered at a determined date.
You know what this is? This is going into a dark room and finding something on your bed and being like, "Huh." All right.
I think
then you turn the lights on and say, "Oh," or "Uh-oh."
I think Tomlin had a great quote about this, and maybe I'm messing it up a little bit, but he had a great line about, I would much rather say like, "Whoa, chill out," versus have to teach a dog how to bark. You would much rather dial the aggressiveness back maybe slightly than to teach aggressiveness. I mean, think about every quarterback in the NFL that you hate or that you've lost money on. I mean, like Sam Bradford, just kind of a pussy, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, had a cannon of an arm, was afraid to use it.
Did he have a cannon? I don't know that I qualify Sam Bradford as cannon.
Cannon is probably a stretch, but he had a decent arm. I mean, look at the prospect he was coming out of.
He was accurate. He was accurate, but he got tamed. He got broken down and just beat up over the years, just trying to be safe, trying to be conservative, and sometimes you just have somebody in your life, Josh Allen had this. He had somebody in his life who maybe just tried to polish themselves up a little bit. They were very concerned with how they appeared and how they looked, and they let Josh carry them and build their successes, while they're on Instagram and in the booth and just looking nice. And now Josh Allen had somebody who's just, better than him, smarter, might be better looking, just got that swagger about them. and they just carry themselves quietly, unassumingly. They're not out there trying to make a name. And Josh just kind of gets to sit back and live his life. And Joe Brady's been spectacular in that regards. Just remember.
Oh, wow.
And the best meme I saw to sum up the switch from Joe Brady was the Olympic shooter, the Turkish guy who won silver medals. And that is Joe Brady. Joe Brady is just straight vibes. Whereas Ken Dorsey's the guys out there bending over with the patch over one eye, trying to do way too much.
Overthinking it.
Well, I will say though, Joe Brady is one of those guys. He came into the pro game with a ton of hype after being the coordinator behind the shout out to Coach O LSU national championship team with Joe Burrow, which maybe that team was just really loaded with Jamar Chase. So then he goes to the Panthers where he's an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And then he flips over to the Bills. So I like the idea of Joe Brady as well. But I do think Bills fans are like a little bit of like, hey man, this guy has one successful year calling plays. Period.
So I figured this out this past offseason. And this is a deep cut here that not everybody's going to remember. But Chan Gailey, as Bills head coach and Dallas Cowboys head coach, was famous, and cheap owners loved him because Chan Gailey believed you could be decent without spending any money. And he proved that you could do that. Joe Brady is Chan Gailey with better PR and a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind what they're leaning into of getting rid of Stefon Diggs, building around Josh with some young talent. Like I look at that roster, like the offense, I don't see how you could project this offense not to be top 5 DVOA. I'm a Josh Allen fan. I think he attacks the field much like some hijackers attacked the cockpit. Maybe I'm using Sean McDermott's speech there that apparently rallied the team.
I will say the Sean McDermott memes this offseason have been just amazing. Like there have been some bad ones, and it's been great.
Yeah.
And Bills fans have been enjoying all of them. Just 10 out of 10.
Give us your 30-second, 1-minute breakdown on Stefon Diggs leaving the team. Bills seemingly okay with letting him go here.
So in a lot of ways, I think the Bills were trying to press reset. They're trying to get out of this cap hole that they built themselves when they thought they needed to go out and buy talent. They did it with Von Miller. They did it with Stefon Diggs. They said we need to develop our talent. We need to reset our cap, and we need to not hamstring ourselves like these teams that are going out and spending mass amounts of money on subpar assets, maybe left-handed subpar assets that, quack, quack, quack as the ball flies down the field. But I think the big thing is Stefon Diggs was great for Josh Allen. I really think he was. He was great for his development. He did a really good job bringing Josh, teaching him how to be a pro, building that relationship. He gave Josh that weapon that he needed to develop and take that next step in his career. And it's unfortunate that it soured the way it did. I don't know what happened in this relationship. Again, the deep, dark speculation corners of Bill's Twitter and Reddit are fascinating with this when you try to line things up about when the relationship seemed to sour and when some other things are alleged to have happened off the field for the Buffalo Bills. So when you just kind of look at it like that, it is unfortunate. I'm always going to have a place in my heart for Stefon Diggs because he competed for most of the time he was here. I think he got banged up at times and wasn't honest about how banged up he was, but he's also an aging receiver. I thought he'd be a receiver who would age better, but he kept wanting to stretch the field and not accept the Larry Fitzgerald role where he was going to work the middle of the field. So miss Stefon Diggs. Best of luck to him in Houston. I think he's going to miss playing with Josh Allen a little bit. CJ Stroud's good, but I think he's going to miss playing with Josh Allen and being the guy. But
yeah, that's my take is I don't know if he has second or third receiver vibes in him. And that could be a little bit of
Nico and Tank Dell. He's the number one.
If he can
to Stefon, he's definitely number one.
If he can check that ego and they can keep him in the bag, he's going to have some late season breakouts and some playoff breakouts because they won't need him early. if they can keep him happy and engaged all year, that's a team that's going to scare you come playoff time, because you're going to scheme to take away Nico and Tank Dell. And then Stefon Diggs is just going to erupt for a classic Steph Diggs game. And that's going to be what's going to give teams fits in the AFC. But every AFC team is 3 receivers deep at this point. It's just a giant arms race. Get your receivers, get them while they're hot, and get them while they're young and cheap.
So Joe Brady's offenses with the Carolina Panthers, year 1, remember the Teddy Bridgewater season 2020.
Okay.
Where, by the way, he did have a guy by the name of DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey on the team. His 16th in DVOA.
Okay.
Year 2 with Sam Darnold and Cam Newton, that little PJ Walker. You remember this?
Oh
season.
yeah, I remember that team.
Also, a banged up Christian McCaffrey, 31st in offensive DVOA. So all I'm saying is this foregone conclusion. We were doing this with some teams, right? We're just like, yeah, this shit's good, and I get it. This time he has Josh Allen, so I'm willing to believe that the offense will be good. But for the version that we were talking about earlier, we need them to be a top 5 offense, because we think the defense might take a small step back. So what if it isn't, Sean? Are you really confident that this team is going to take down the division again? Because if we're sitting at the same scenario as last year, 6-6, we got to get hot again. I mean, I still like them, because if they make the playoffs too, I'm still going to like them. The situational thing, if they turn into the team they kind of looked like at the end of last year,
no,
it's going to be like I'm not going to be high on them right now. I know when we go through the schedule.
In spite of their belly aching about some calls by the refs and the way the Eagles game went, right. I still have a ton of respect for the city
greatest
of Buffalo
call I have ever seen, Sean. I didn't know you could get called for intentional grounding while you're outside the pocket being horse caught. Kramer, did you know? I had no idea. My understanding was once you were outside the pocket, you were good. And then to be being horse collared while you throw the ball to get called for the intentional grounding in front of the ref and not even have the flag go out right away. You waited like 30 seconds. I mean, I know we were all aboard, the Kelce's and the T-Swift train there, and Philly was getting some rub off magic there.
It back.
But,
so the popularity of Jason Kelce helped move the needle for the refs.
Listen,
shout out to the
if you want an all-time like butterfly flapping its wings moment, the Buffalo Bills passed on Jason Kelce to draft Eric Woods. And imagine if Jason Kelce was a Buffalo Bill, how much more legendary Jason Kelce's career would have been.
He would have gone through a couple tables. Definitely would have gone through a couple tables. I mean, Kelce getting fucked up at that playoff game in the suite. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And at the tailgate. Love it. Love Jason Kelce. All the respect.
Does seem like a real dude. Likes the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I mean all the stuff you expect from a real guy. You got to
but I'm just saying I do think like Adam laid out a good case as to why Josh Allen generally keeps you in games, but this Sean, I like to bring it up, and I brought it up for a couple teams this year, but the dead money situation is always an indicator of a team that may struggle to compete. There's always one or two every year that manage to do it. Generally, it involves a rookie quarterback, like maybe say the Broncos, who have the most dead money, or the Vikings. Sam Darnold's going to need to be.
So
great.
hold on,
but the Bills have a lot of.
You're saying the Broncos are going to be more successful than the Bills?
I'm saying the idea of overcoming that much dead money is hard when you're paying your quarterback that much, because, like you said, some of this is from bad contracts they've doled out, and they're wise to do it all in 1 year. But it does make it tough to compete this year. That's all I'm saying. And we traditionally, if you look at the top of the league in dead money every year, especially the teams that are in fringe, I believe they're somewhere in the vicinity of 25% of their salary cap is dead. And so that's just a tough thing to overcome.
But my question would be, with that 25% of the cap being dead money, what did they lose from last year's team that was a Tyler Bass yips away from beating the Chiefs and being in an AFC championship game, where who knows what would have happened against.
Sure. You have Josh Allen. That's why.
Right. I mean, the Bills have Josh Allen. They didn't really lose anybody. The most significant loss is probably Stefon Diggs. And you could argue from a veteran standpoint, Hyde and Poyer, but we saw the Bills without Hyde and Poyer 2 years ago playing well with that defense, with Damar Hamlin, with other guys, and Sean McDermott discovered new ways to look multiple with that defense, with that 3 safety look. We're going to see a lot of that this year as well. And the defensive line, the rushers are improving. Greg Rousseau's improving. We haven't gotten to see a full healthy season of Greg Rousseau. Remember, he played most of last year with a broken foot. And so that's definitely going to slow him down coming off the edge. So I hear what you're saying about that, but just also think about, it's not like the cap money they had was being spent on pieces that are making an impact. I mean, they were a Stefon Diggs being, having his hands back away from beating the Chiefs as well. Don't forget, he let that bomb go right through his hands. If he catches that, he's walking into the end zone. That stadium's rocking, and Taylor Swift is crying her way on the rest of the tour.
But yes, all of what you said is accurate. They can still be good. They can overcome the disadvantage they've created for themselves. I'm just saying, if those couple of injuries and things take place again, we could be right back where we are last year. And if
the only injury that derails this team is if Josh Allen misses significant time. Nothing else will derail this team on a significant level.
I would, perhaps, but when you have that much, again, when you have that much non-active money being spent on the team this year, you're probably thin in some areas like safety. I mean, Damar Hamlin, you're kidding. I understand that he played a couple good games, but you're crazy if you're feeling confident with him as a starter.
All right, let's get to it. Let's talk odds. Let's look at the schedule here. Right now, we got the Bills win total sitting at 10.5. Whopping 10.5. Kramer and I went under last year. They got to that 11-6. Make playoffs -172. Miss playoffs +140. Division +165. Conference +750. And oh no, Super Bowl 15-1. Kramer,
quite expensive.
Yeah, pretty. It's not cheap. So it's interesting because I feel like now maybe this is just the fantasy analysts that you see online or whatever are down on the Bills because hey, they're resetting the roster, but really it was just mostly Stefon Diggs. The betting market doesn't seem to be really that down on this team. If you thought you were going to get a discount on the Bills because of maybe how the season started last year or losing Diggs, I don't really see much of a discount.
Well, if you remember, they were the Sharps team to buy in the Super Bowl markets there when they were 6-6. They did get to the playoffs and got a playoff win. So certainly some CLV there. Right? Well, I'm sure that is part of this is a continuation bet on that to basically using Adam's argument of all right, that's fine. But the unit that we had last year went on this run. A lot of it was the transformation of the offense. And yeah, you probably need a couple things to hit on the defensive side, but you have Josh Allen.
Let's talk quadrants.
All right. You want to talk quads or quadrants?
I realize this is the only time I use the word quadrants is when we do these NFL team. It never really comes up any other time.
When we're not actually talking about quadrants.
Well, what do you mean?
It's not technically 4 equal parts, or does it not?
I don't think quadrants have to be equal, Kramer. I think it's just splitting anything into 4.
Oh, well.
Adam does have a background.
He is an educator
in education.
All right, so let's go through our lopsided quadrants. The first one, Cardinals at home, which I have a feeling they'll be a popular survivor.
So does everyone want to hear that?
Yes.
This is Wikipedia. The axis of a 2-dimensional Cartesian system divide the plane into 4 infinite regions called quadrants, each bound by 2 half axes. So it doesn't necessarily have to be equal then.
No, but yeah, but
if it's infinite.
Well, I think what it's saying is if you were to think about the negative positive anyway.
The audience is
listen. You come for the betting and you stay for the etymological.
Well, but infinity does equal infinity.
I will also make one other point. Can we trust a roster that has Ben DiNucci on it? Adam, how did you not lead with the Ben DiNucci sign?
Listen, I am very hopeful that the Bills let Mitch Trubisky go and let Gucci DiNucci be the quarterback. He is the answer to Tommy Cutlets. He is the counter. And I would much rather trust Ben DiNucci than Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Everybody eats. He's Mike McCarthy's nephew, right?
Oh yeah, they had some sort of or like he coaches basketball
you
team
get
or
that
something.
Motherfucker off the team.
Also, Josh, I sent over an image. It's I think we have to discuss on it. So whenever you find it, I send it over in Slack. Bring that up, but we can talk first quadrant.
Okay,
Ryan. What do we got?
First quadrant. Like I was saying, I do think the Bills will be a popular survivor play here. Week 1 against the Cardinals. Then they go down to Miami on a short week, Thursday Night Football. A lot of prime time here for Josh, for someone who doesn't want to be in the limelight. Just a regular old Joe, blue collar
dating a massive celebrity.
Just a regular old celebrity.
Listen, Josh will always show up in primetime. Primetime Josh is something else.
All right, well, he gets 3 tests to start the year. At Dolphins on Thursday night, then Jags on Monday Night Football. This time actually at home. Little mini bye there with the Thursday night game, and then at Ravens on Sunday Night Football. That Ravens game is the first of a 3-game road stretch.
Wow.
The Bills will play 4 of their first 6 games on the road. So for this first 4, I'm going to give the Dolphins the early game down there, although the night game will make it cooler maybe. And then I think you got to give them the home games. Yeah. 2-2.
I love them against the Jaguars. I do think the Cardinals, this Bills team has dropped games early.
They should have lost to the Giants and Tyrod Taylor last year. If you remember, Tyrod blew that game.
No, to Adam's point, like they do show up in prime time, but some like sleepy spots against teams that they should beat are usually their kryptonite and kind of where they trip up.
You're saying that Jag spot it's not though. They lost.
Oh no. Jags they're gonna beat. Cardinals, I think randomly could be tricky. And then at Ravens, I don't know. Dolphins, it shouldn't be too hot, but a division game on Thursday Night Football. It's early, so I think that is a little bit better for them. I don't know. This is a tough.
Ravens do have the Bengals on deck after that, but I don't think they're looking past.
Ryan, what are you doing?
2-2.
2-2.
2-2.
Okay. 2-2. I think 2-2, and then wait a couple games, and maybe that's when you fire on your Bills.
Yeah.
Future, but I'll go 2-2. Adam, what do you got him?
4-0 right out the gate.
4-0
right out the gate. Let me just make this clear. Josh Allen owns the Dolphins 10-1. They're going to change. It's going to be Josh Allen Stadium soon, and they're going to change the name from Hard Rock. Okay. He owns that team. He's going to go out there and do it again. And even though Jordan Poyer is now going to try to play up this revenge spot, Jordan Poyer isn't the force he once was on the back end. Great guy, gave us some great years. He's not the player he once was, and he's not the answer. That Dolphins secondary is older than you think it is. I don't know their exact age, but I'm pretty sure it's north of 30 on the average, which is not what you want from your corners going up against young, physical, and fast receivers in Shakir and Coleman, and then Curtis Samuel out of the backfield. That Dolphins team has been hyping themselves up. And again, I've talked about it time and time again, and nobody seems to want to listen, that this Dolphins team, everyone's remembering the first 6 games of the year, which included a 48-20 ass kicking by the Bills. It was sugar high numbers at the start of the year, and they were terrible in the second half of the year. Teams figured out how to play them. They figured out how to stop this offense. And Tua didn't all of a sudden get a better arm. You get him off his spot, and they're in a lot of trouble. The Jags.
I'm adjusting mine to 3-1.
2-1. Well,
but I think their one loss might be that Cardinals, because you look at they lost at home to the Steelers. They lost at the opening day in the 2021 season, and they lost opening day against the Jets.
Feels almost like a Colts trend.
Now they put it on the Rams in there between, but he's selling me on the Dolphin spot. So
and just remember, this is Sean McDermott coaching for his job this year.
It's true.
That's not even a question in my mind. This is Sean McDermott coaching for his job. Yeah. He has to deliver. He has to get by the Chiefs in the playoffs. If he doesn't, he's on the hot seat.
We're gonna have
he 100% is. There are candidates out there who are going to be attractive, and Terry Pegula isn't going to keep losing all of these games. And the rumors are is that his daughters are getting more involved, and his daughters aren't going to want to be owners of a losing franchise.
That's true. I'm gonna have to rally all the box cutters. By the way, we haven't talked about it, Sean.
Yeah.
KJ Hamler also on the receiver depth chart. Here,
Oh,
so.
okay.
I know
Been the best out of the retreads apparently in camp. I mean, Claypool went on season-ending IR today. MVS has been mid at best. KJ Hamler might be the guy.
So I'm 3-1, Adam 4-0, Ryan 2-2. What about? Oh, and we did track down that photo. This is some super sad Buffalo Bills fan. Look at how much time you spent in and photoshopping a fake snowman. I mean,
no
artistic.
That's a real snowman, Sean. They
that
made
is true.
that.
It is a real snowman.
I had people drive by that and send me pictures. Don't you besmirch? We're not Eagles fans. We don't just fake things. We do it for real. Okay. You've been to upstate New York. There's not a whole lot to do. We're going to drink, go to our Bills games, and make ridiculous snow sculptures.
There is not a lot to do.
That is their culture. All right, Ryan, next quadrant.
Let's get a table out, jump through it. All right. Like I said, 3 in a row on the road. After that Ravens Sunday night game, they then go down to Houston to play the Texans and then hop over to New York to take on the Jets on Monday Night Football. Then we have a matchup against our Titans, Sean, and then they bounce out to Seattle. Week 8, first 8 weeks of the season, we got 3 home games, 5 road games. Yeah. This is it's a tough one. Got a couple long road trips down to Miami, Seattle, Houston. Whew.
Yeah, and
for this stretch though, I mean 3 out of 4 on the road.
Well, and the Jets game is the third road game of a 3 road game stretch, which is almost impossible historically to win. Maybe they take the Texans. Maybe that's the game they get. I think that I got them going 2-2 here, and that's why I'm glad I moved the first quadrant to 3-1, because I think 5-3 through the first 8, considering how many road games they have, is a good spot. Kramer, what are you doing?
I was gonna say 1-3, but I feel like Adam would get very upset if I said 1-3.
I've just gotten used to the disrespect that y'all are going to throw onto the Bills, Josh Allen, just all the disrespect, because this is another 4-banger right here. Okay. The Texans are going to learn. Right. The Texans are going to learn what it means to play big boy football again. Okay. Josh Allen is going to show CJ Stroud how to be an NFL caliber quarterback. And Stefon Diggs is really going to miss playing with Josh Allen when he sees Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir both go for more than 100 yards. Jets are going to be a clown show this year. Aaron Rodgers isn't Aaron Rodgers anymore. He's an old guy. He's not going to have it anymore. And that team is going to be falling apart, and they're going to fire Robert Saleh mid-year. Titans.
That is
Will Levis just released a mayo scented cologne, and it wasn't even good mayo.
Oh, come on. Hellman's
trash.
Well, you don't tell me you're a Miracle Whip guy.
God, no. Dukes all day. Eat real mayonnaise, gentlemen. Eat real mayonnaise.
They did sponsor they are the official sponsor of the Mayo Bowl, so hard not to like them there.
Greatest bowl of all time. Hands down. The mayo dump is a feature.
It's a unique college.
So they're not you. I assume you have the Titans winning, Sean.
Hey, I got it 2-2. I don't like to lock down specific predictions. Gives me some flexibility in the quadrant system, but 2-2 sounds about right. Ryan, what are you doing?
I'll also go 2-2.
So Ryan 4-4. I'm 5-3, and Adam 8-0.
We're slightly different. We're not seeing totally eye to eye. All right. Now, week 9, we got the Dolphins coming to Buffalo. Wish that was a little bit later. Maybe Tua gets a nice road win there. At Colts, week 10. Then we got the Chiefs coming to town. Didn't they get the Chiefs at home last year?
They did. They did.
And in the playoffs.
Wow.
Right? Or no, they went to them in the regular season.
They went KC during the regular season.
They just won. That's why I thought it was at home. Then we got a bye week 12, which again, if you're gearing up for the postseason run, this is beautiful. And then they got the Niners, Sean.
Niners, dude.
Off the bye. This is a tricky schedule for a team that's got a 10.5 win total, only favored 11 times. What are you doing in this quadrant, Sean? 3 home games, 1 road game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I like him against the Niners. Niners are trash. Man, Chiefs. Wow. It's kind of a revenge spot. How motivated will this Chiefs team be in the regular season? I have my questions. I think the way the AFC West looks, they can be in fucking cruise control. I think would be the issue. I like them in the spot against the Dolphins. Colts. Yeah. I mean, I think they match up decently against the Colts. I'm 3-1 is possible. Yeah, I'll go 3-1. I think they lose either the Chiefs or 49ers. Well, no, 49ers suck. So maybe it's just the Chiefs. But I don't see them losing to the Dolphins at home. Maybe the Colts snag one there, but I think they'll be in a decent spot here for a strong finish, right?
So did you say it 3-1?
3-1. Yep.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to lose the Colts or the Chiefs game. I'll say 3-1 here.
All right. Adam,
See,
can you say 4-0?
No, you're redeeming yourselves in my eyes because you're more aggressive on them here than I am. I got them coming out of this stretch 2-2.
Wow,
I think it's that Chiefs. I think it's that Chiefs and Niners game because I think Sean McDermott in the past has really gone all out to win that Chiefs game. I think sitting at 10-0 heading into the Chiefs game, Chiefs are going to come in, pop them in the mouth, and Sean McDermott's going to kind of use it as an opportunity to get the guys right coming off the bye. They come off slow off the bye usually, so they're going to drop the Chiefs and drop the 49ers in back-to-back spots, and then they're really going to turn it up down the stretch.
That's an interesting angle. I see what he did there.
Motivation.
All
so right. Adam 10-2. I'm 8-4. Ryan 7-5.
At Rams, at line. You know what? Put me 2-2 in that last section, Sean.
Okay. So down to 6-6, just like last year. I said this the same team. At Rams, at Lions, another tricky back-to-back road spot. Then we got Patriots at home, Jets at home, and at Patriots. So I'm comfortable saying those last 3 are a win. Yeah, I mean the Pats, now that they got rid of Judon, which is Circa is hanging a 200-1 for Judon Defensive Player of the Year.
That's wild. Patriots are giving up.
Yeah, well, it's weird. They were supposedly trading for Brandon Ayuk, and now they're trading their best player. Why
Ayuk didn't want to go there.
Yeah, he goes, Matthew, they're not going to pay Judon. Why should I go there? So interesting way there. I think. Well, I'm going to say 3-2, just because there could be a game here, and part of this is maybe I should have went 2-2 in the previous. But I like 6-3 of the last 9 games. So
they're not beating the Lions.
I worry. I think they'll show up against the Rams. Bills Mafia will travel out to LA, get out of the cold, and maybe So the Ram spot, but again, Lions in a back-to-back non-conference road spot. That is tough.
McVay also has San Francisco on deck for that game.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
I think that's winnable. 4-1.
4-1 is in the cards, certainly. But I'll go 3-2, which has me cruising in at 11-6. Ryan went 10-7, so he's on the under there with the 10.5 wins. Adam, you're sitting at 10-2. Can you get over 10.5 wins in these last 5?
Yeah, they're gonna go 4. They're gonna go 4-1 to close.
4-1. All right.
4-1.
Now I would make fun of Adam, but I also had my team going 14-3, so maybe it's just good analysis all around. But I mean, yeah, the Bills having a good regular season and making a little bit of a run here.
Again, I want to go back to the Bills have been within striking distance of winning every game that Josh Allen has played except for 6 in his entire career, and only weren't in striking distance in 3 of those. And none last year. They were within a touchdown all season last year. I think all their losses, what was that? 5 points was their biggest loss last year. No, they had a 6-pointer against the Bengals. So this team just plays everything close. You can't write them off ever. And that's the kind of team that goes 14-3. the teams that are never out of it, that could win a game at any second. I mean, just remember 2 years ago, that Dolphins game, if Josh Allen doesn't throw a dirt ball in Miami in the 120-degree heat, they're walking off a winner in that game. How many times have they been just a fingertip away from winning?
But the counter would be that is Buffalo. That is Buffalo football, and that is
that
who
is.
they are.
Oh, trust me,
they are so close to winning, and that's the pain of being a Buffalo Bills fan.
Oh, 100%. It's why we love it. It's why we do this. It's why we drink. It's why we go through tables. It's why our tailgates are second to none. Because when you got an 18-year playoff drought, your team's awful, and your owner's going out and hiring a guy in Chan Gailey who thinks I can win without talent, and Mike Mularkey who thinks running a counter makes your offense exotic. You got to get excited about something. So we got excited about the tailgate.
Ryan, you know what I'm excited about? Rhythm and the fact that they got NFL Week 1 projections up, NFL Week 1 picks, college football Week 0, sides and totals already live, props right around the corner. It's football season, baby. Get a model going. I was always skeptical of putting a model together, and so I started playing around with Rhythm. They make it super easy to build your own model. They test it and they give you the results and show you like, hey, this is what it's done in the past, X amount of years. Very easy to use, very easy to set up. And if you don't want to use your own model, you can just use Rhythm's models. Of course, WNBA is back. They've been killing it there. They've done really well in golf, and looking forward to building some models, getting some AI sports picks and props for this upcoming football season. Get the free 7-day trial. You're gonna like it. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Ryan, you're sitting at under 10.5 wins. What are some other futures you like here?
I do. So I landed on. I might have all three of the East teams landing on 10-7. I don't know how to process this. I kind of, as much as I won't endorse the over, Keon Coleman to lead the rookies in touchdowns.
Oh, okay. What is he receiving touchdowns?
Hold on.
Because I think I like playing. So here are two. I
like him yards too.
So him to lead yards is 8-1 for the rookie market. I kind of like, if he's going to beat all the rookies, I don't think it's crazy to think maybe, listen, Josh Allen threw for 4,300 last year, right? There's a chance either Keon Coleman or Khalil Shakir end up being his guy, and they rack up a bunch of passing yards. Khalil Shakir to lead the AFC East in receiving yards, 28-1. Keon Coleman to lead the AFC East in receiving yards is 50-1. So I think a small sprinkle on both those guys, if they end up being the guy. I don't think Kincaid is going to be the guy, at least yardage wise. Now maybe you can make a case touchdown stuff. I think it's going to be too much 12 personnel, but those two guys I think are a fun long shot for the Bills. What do you like in those markets, Ryan?
So shout out my bookie. It's 10-1 for Coleman to lead touchdowns.
Oh, most rookie touchdowns. Yeah. Okay, I'll put down on that.
My concern with your bets is you have Tyreek Hill, not even mentioning Garrett Wilson. You have Tyreek Hill in the mix.
It's true.
So you can see why that pushes the price up.
Yeah, but that's why it's 28-1.
Yeah,
it's a tough one. But Shakir last year wasn't really involved. Wasn't getting the touchdowns. He was getting the yards. He was moving the sticks. He was the guy they went to on first downs. The one that you're more likely to see. I mean, Keon Coleman already looks like he has better hands and body control than Gabe Davis ever did. So one bet I actually really like this year. There's a team special on DraftKings. Khalil Shakir 1,000 receiving yards and Dalton Kincaid 750 receiving yards. Feels like a free square right there. Dalton Kincaid only started 11 games last year and got to 637.
And what's the price on that?
Plus 700.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, see, I'm not quite as high on Kincaid, but it's only 750. All right.
Yeah, I mean that's actually that. I mean, if you want to get the underdog play out of the way, That's what my play. Give me Kincaid higher 5.5 receiving touchdowns.
Okay, you like the higher on the Kincaid?
I'm good with Coleman's too if you want to play that, but just to diversify. Yeah, love the Kincaid. I think if we end the season and the two leaders in red zone targets for the Bills are Kincaid and Coleman, would that make sense to you? Yeah. So how do you not like the higher on both of them? So yeah, I'm also just super high on Kincaid. Fantasy, Josh Allen, Kincaid, Coleman, love that stack.
You know what? Yeah,
so much of that.
I'll lose my AFC East and I'll go with these the Shakir Kincaid combo that Adam gave out, and the rookie touchdowns for Keon Coleman. Bills to win the AFC East at +165. Count me in on that, and the over 10.5 wins. Obviously, Adam, what do you like futures? How high are we going?
I mean, we might as well ladder play this. We're going to say the Bills are going to win the division. Okay. And then they're going to win the conference, and then they're going to win the Super Bowl. Just ladder play this. Your free money all the way up. We're just going to go. I need CJ. CJ didn't send me a ladder, that SOB, but it's that. I mean, it's
such a long drop.
Hope springs eternal in Buffalo. I mean, we were really into it the past 2 years, and this year everybody's kind of looking past us. And I agree with Bills Mafia DGen. I think this is the year Josh Allen gets his MVP award that he deserved last year when Lamar Jackson had a great statistical season.
Shots fired.
Have you seen that comparison to Lamar's last season to Tyrod Taylor's best season in Buffalo? They're almost identical statistically.
That is something the Bills fans would dig up. I feel like the Bills fans.
Hold on.
It was.
We will dig this up because Lamar Jackson is a great player. I will respect the hell out of Lamar Jackson, but you're not going to sit there and tell me that the Ravens were that good because of Lamar Jackson, that he was the most valuable piece to that team.
I agree.
It was.
I really get pissed off with this narrative driven thing where it's just one person said it and now all of a sudden it's this. Patrick Mahomes deserves to be the MVP every year because of how good he is. Josh Allen is the only quarterback in the NFL last year who even came close to touching Patrick Mahomes. He beat him once in the regular season. He was a drop and a missed kick away from beating him last year in the playoffs and sending him packing in the divisional round. You're not going to stand there and tell me Lamar Jackson was the most valuable player when he wasn't even the most important player on his team.
I do agree that Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things affects his team more than most.
Yeah. He puts the team on his back. And
Lamar's not that far behind. I don't know. I feel like Adam's a little bit being emotional right now. Maybe a little 24-hour rule. We'll get back to you. But so Sean, real quick on Kincaid.
Yeah.
His receptions prop 80.5. Very high.
Yeah. See, I'm not anti Kincaid. I just think Dawson Knox is going to be involved enough. Like these other guys are going to chip away at Dalton Kincaid.
Sean, they have 284 vacated targets that are available.
That's true.
And Kincaid had 73 catches last year.
Yeah.
Well, only starting 11 games. So he just needs to get 7 more catches, which means
give me the over.
So he's going to be 110 targets. And you haven't even touched anybody's. That's just eating up the dog shit Trent Sherfield and Deontay Hardy targets. Like that's all Dalton Kincaid needs to do. He gets those two guys targets. He's at 130 targets and he's running away with this thing.
Yeah, I totally see the case. I'm just I'm
sounds like you don't see.
No, I'm not fading. I just almost like the lower value of Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox to get some anytime touchdowns. Dawson Knox first touchdown.
He's going to be a great anytime touchdown play. He's going to be open because he's the 4th or 5th option right now in this offense. Anytime he's on the field with Shakir and Coleman and Samuel and Cooks and Kincaid and Allen, they're going to do everything but go to Dawson Knox. But that's going to be good for him, and it's going to take a lot of pressure off of stone hands.
Oh wow.
And I will
He
say,
can't catch. It kills
Dawson
me.
Knox.
Yeah, can't catch.
No, he's got to figure it out.
Don't say that about Dawson Knox to Sean's face.
No, I think feel like people toss him aside, and I think he's got a little left
He had
in
a
him.
he was about 60% catch rate last year, Sean. You're not going to sit there and tell me
This
that
is
guy
his
can
year.
catch.
This is his year. Keon Coleman higher 725.5 receiving yards. I do think he's got a good connection, seeing some good buzz out of camp. So that is my underdog play. Adam, do you have an underdog season long you want to toss out here?
I just got to piggyback on that Keon Coleman because Gabe Davis was absolutely terrible and put up multiple goose eggs last year, and he got to 746. Keon Coleman already looks better than Gabe Davis ever did in Buffalo. I know it's lame. I know it's dumb, but it's a free square in my mind with the amount of vacated targets that are there. Mac Hollins is going to be fun and do some work. Definitely get him late.
Mac Hollins' first touchdown against Arizona.
Get some Mac Hollins late in your underdog drafts. I love him. You're going to get him. I think his ADP is well into the triple digits. So easy pickup late to complete a Josh Allen stack. And he's going to win you some weeks. I mean, he's going to be on the field because he's a good blocker, which means he's going to be on the field in play action situations.
I will say Josh Allen is very fun to draft this year.
Yeah.
Even if you don't get Kincaid, because like you were highlighting, some of these Mac Hollins specifically is going to be on the field in the red zone because of his blocking. And so he's going to get some touchdowns. Sean's guy, Dawson Knox, also going to be on the field in the red zone. And Samuel and Shakir are going pretty late too. So, I mean, and Coleman, like all of them are going late. It's a pretty wild. He really unlocks an interesting team, even if you don't get Kincaid.
And in a format like underdog, in underdog and in guillotine, drafting a high upside quarterback like Josh Allen is just so big. I know in guillotine, that's my strategy off the bat. Get Josh, get Mahomes. If I don't leave with Josh or Mahomes, I really hate my draft in guillotine leagues because you got to have that high floor early on where your quarterback's setting the pace for you heading through.
What percentage of the audience is like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Guillotine leagues? Yeah. I feel
like greatest thing. Just acquired by Matthew Berry believes in guillotine leagues. He just acquired guillotine leagues.
I have heard he's into acquiring things, so that's cool. I mean, honestly, Kincaid, Coleman, whatever the metric, I feel like I'm into taking. Put me down officially for the Kincaid 80.5 over as well.
Oh yeah, I got you on the catches, Ryan. I got you on the higher receiving touchdowns, the most rookie touchdowns for Keon Coleman, like that as well.
Yeah. What else?
So you're under 10.5 wins. So you're not playing any playoffs, division.
You don't want to. Kramer, you got your chance now to get on the record that you're taking the over on this because you're gonna be wrong again.
That's fine. That's fine.
Again, back-to-back years being wrong. And I can fix your AFC East problem. The Dolphins are going to win 8 games. Problem solved.
I don't think I'm going to have a problem. I might actually end up with I don't think I can bet on the Bills to make the playoffs or win the division. What I can do is bet on them to lose. I wanted to ask Adam this question. Better value to bet on them to lose in the divisional round or the conference championship?
When will they play the Chiefs?
Doesn't matter. They're going to win.
So you
don't want to bet on them to lose in the playoffs right now, Kramer.
Sean, here's the ladder. You take division round 5-1, conference championship 750, and Super Bowl 14-1.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's a diabolical.
Adam, you need
ladder.
that as like an insurance policy.
Listen, if the Bills lose in the Super Bowl, just we're under general rules here. Don't look for me in the week leading up to it. Don't look for me in the weeks after it. If the Bills make the Super Bowl, just Adam doesn't exist for like a month.
Bills and the Super Bowl is in New Orleans. So Bills Mafia descending to New Orleans for a week. My God. Right.
So
pray for us all.
We need some coverage there for that, right? Like, should I just
sure.
check my schedule a little bit?
Book it now, Adam. Book it now. All right, let's take a look at the best bets here. Again, Kramer, the hater at 10-7. Me, the realist at 11-6. Adam, 14-3. Keon Coleman, we like his higher receiving yards. Adam and I. Kramer's got the Kincaid higher 5.5 receiving touchdowns. I like their chances at AFC East. Give me the plus 165. Keon Coleman most rookie touchdowns. That's a fun angle. Adam sold me on the Shakir Kincaid combo, and yeah, good times all around.
You can bet on the Bills to be the wild card plus 250.
Yeah, I don't like those. Even with the exact outcome elimination,
You'd rather just take the make playoff.
Yeah, I don't know any of those. It's just like, yeah, I don't. I'm not into those. It just feels like such. No, I'm just saying, like it feels like such a, for that price, just such a needle you have to thread at plus 250 to me is not intriguing.
It's going to be hard to be the wild card when they go 6-0 in the division.
Yeah, exactly. Adam nailed it. Appreciate you as always coming on, Adam. Make sure you follow him on the X at Adam Pelletier. And check out everything over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Daily picks. We got you MLB, daily underdog picks as well. There's just a ton of content.
Sean, you're not bringing enough excitement about.
Yeah, come
this.
on.
Yes,
Let
Adam,
what are you doing?
Come on.
You-
What
you're
are you
the
doing
promo
here?
guy.
We got
Sell
the
promo.
daily MLB underdog. We got the daily Nerfy, no runs first inning. Baseball sucks, but we're winning money there left
There you
and
go.
right. Thanks to Dan Breland, Jeff Fox, Munaf Manji, the entire crew. Then we got you covered with Justin Mark counting it down with an NFL future to bet every single day until the season starts. Kick it with J Mark every day. We got divisional previews coming out. We got a little special something that's going to be there for you to hold in your hot little hands. So that way you can enjoy and preview the NFL season if you may, and just all the resources, everything you're going to need. The fantasy cheat sheets are going to be dropping soon. You got to be subscribed to 5 Minute Fantasy because Dave Heelman is killing it over there. Who's got time to listen to somebody rock an entire underdog best ball draft? It's boring as hell. Hit it in 5 minutes, quick and efficient, ladies and gentlemen. SGPN, let it ride.
Plug God.
Except when we do the underdog drafts. Those are good.
Those are
Thank
very
you for
riveting.
participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He is Ryan.
Why?
Kramer, let it ride.